Hey, it's Melanie Mitro, 15-star Diamond Team Beachbody Coach. Today's topic for our Elite Contenders Push group is all about mentoring your coaches without attacking them. Now, I don't mean physically attacking your coaches, but what happens a lot as a Beachbody coach, and I'm sure you're encountering that, or maybe you've even done it yourself, you're guilty of this, is that you set goals, you write them out, you get on the phone with your sponsor coach, you tell them what your goals are going to be, and then you don't do it. Your actions do not match up with what you wrote down on paper, what you talked about. And so a sponsor coach really gets frustrated because on the outside, they're saying, gosh, you're emotionally invested in this goal. I know that you want to do it. And I believe that you're capable of achieving this goal. Why are you not taking the daily steps to make it happen? We as the mentors see potential in everybody. We know that they can do it. But until they believe in themselves, it's going to be very hard for them to get there. And our natural instinct is to say, why? What is your problem? Why aren't you making sacrifices? What is it that you're not doing? We want to point the finger. You're not posting 3 to 5 times a day. You're not inviting. You're not inviting to the business opportunity. And people start to shut down. The minute you get on a phone call with somebody or you message somebody and tell them all the things they're doing wrong, they shut down. I know myself, if you start pointing fingers at me, you're out. I'm not paying attention from that point forward. So, what can we do as leaders to become effective listeners and to become more effective at building relationships? This whole business is based on relationship building. So, first and foremost, developing a rapport with your coaches is key. So, your key players in your business right now, do you know them? Do you know who their family members are? Do you know their kids? Do you know what their husband's name is? Do you know where they live? Do you know what some of their interests are? If you don't, then your goal is to set up a weekly standing call with your coaches that are actively working the business, shooting for diamond, are really meeting you halfway, and start getting to know them. Take the first 10 minutes and ask them, how's your family? How was your kid's first day of school? How are things going at home? I know you're selling your house, so did you have any bites yet? General conversation. Ask questions. Get to know them. Know exactly what's going on in their life. What happens is that person that's not working towards their goals, and you don't understand why because they have all the potential, when you just ask how life is going, sometimes they're going to tell you, oh my gosh, it's really stressful. We had somebody that was going to buy our house, but it fell through. And so here we are going through, all this back and forth to break this contract. And you immediately realize why their focus has shifted, why they're not so focused on Beachbody. For example, I had a new coach this morning that was talking about how she was so upset because she took her daughter to college and dropped her off, and she has no emotional issues or attachment issues, but all of a sudden she fell apart. She's got horrible anxiety. She will not leave her dorm room, and she's, the mom is just distraught over it, and she can't eat, can't sleep. Well, no wonder she's not doing her 3 vital behaviors. That's not priority. So when you ask questions first, and you listen instead of always jumping to give advice, you're going to find out that there's always an underlying issue between not getting that behavior done. So start there, ask questions, develop relationship, then be an active listener. So turn off your cell phone. I like to turn my cell phone upside down and put it on silent. I close Facebook. Sometimes I'll even just close the lid of my computer. And when I get on a phone call with a coach, it is them. I do everything I can to get everything else out of my mind, get a sheet of paper out so I can take notes about what they're saying, and listen. I've learned to keep my mouth shut and not always be the one to talk the entire time, but to listen to what they say, identify what some of their triggers are, ask some key questions, things like, what is really stressing you out right now about this business? Or, at night when you go to bed, what keeps you up at night? My goal is to ask questions to get them to identify the areas that they're struggling in. I'm not getting on that phone with my agenda to tell them what they're doing wrong. I want to ask the right questions so that they can identify what they're doing wrong. What do you think is holding you back from reaching success? What are you most scared about? What excites you most about reaching this goal? just those questions alone are going to open the whole entire conversation and are going to give you a way to direct the entire 30 minutes that you're on that phone call with that coach. And refrain from having to blurt out something before that person's done with their thought. So a lot of times we want to cut somebody off and interject with what we think they should be doing. But get in the habit of zipping your lips, letting that person finish their thought, and then say, here's what I think, or here's what I suggest. A lot of times, instead of saying, you should do this or do that, you should say, I've done this and it works really well, or you should try this. This worked really well for so-and-so. A lot of times we want to direct. You have to do this. You must do this. You're not doing this. Try to remove those words from your vocabulary. Pay attention next time you're talking to a coach. Do you do any of those things? Instead, try rephrasing it. Soften your approach. Smile when you're talking to the person. They can feel that when you're excited, right? And be compassionate and caring. I understand how you feel, or, oh, that must be hard. So try some of those things and see if your conversations with your coaches go much better and you're able to break down some of those walls where they might become defensive. So first and foremost, break down the defense, be an active listener, engage 100%, get them to identify what it is that they're struggling with, and then you can help them with suggestions for how to overcome their struggles. All right. Be prepared in advance for your calls. When you are getting on a call with somebody and you have a tough subject you want to talk about with somebody, do your legwork. Go to their Facebook page. If they write on a blog or their YouTube channel, they say they're posting 3 to 5 times a day. So check it out. What do their posts look like? And then jot down some notes. Find something you can praise that person about, their accomplishments. Know what's going on in their life. And then you can give some suggestions for how to make it better during your phone call. All right. Think about, what is the best boss you've ever had? What did that person do? How did they make you feel? What about that person did you love? Write down those characteristics. Then think about the worst boss you've ever had. We all have them. Think about how they made you feel. I have one. She made me anxious to come to work every single day. I cried. I was afraid that I was always in trouble. I never felt like I was good enough. And I couldn't wait to get out of that job. I was scarred for a very long time after being in that position. And I vowed to myself that I would never be that kind of boss. I did not let it hold me back, but I used it as ammunition for how I wanted to be in the future. All right, as I leave you with a few tips, here's what I want to tell you guys. So as you're doing these calls, or as you have to come upon tough conversations with coaches that are not doing what they say that they're going to do, what are some ways that you can approach the situation? Number 1, never express emotion negatively. So you never want to be negative or yell or be frustrated or angry. You want to keep your voice even keel. You want to state things matter of fact, right? So give the facts. This is what I see. This is what I observe. Don't give anything objective. I think you're doing this, or I think you're doing that. You want to say, I see this. These are the things I'm seeing. You're only posting once a day, right? I see that you only have 3 Success Club points. So, what's going on? What is it that you see? Objective things, right? So that's where you want to go. And then also, pause before you hit send. Anytime you write an email, a Facebook message, or even record a voicemail, ask yourself, is this coming across the right way? Am I being objective? Am I being professional? Am I removing emotion from what I'm saying? And am I getting my point across clearly without being so forceful and direct that I'm going to force somebody to put up walls? Think about it. Every single time you talk to a coach, you're either adding value to their relationship or breaking that relationship down. We are aiming to create trust every single day. And that starts with building that foundation of relationship and working on ourselves to be better leaders. If you struggle in this area, then I suggest for you to dig into personal development. Choose a book that's going to help you to be a better leader. One of the ones I started reading was People Follow You by Jeb Blount. This book is awesome at teaching you to be an effective leader. I was never in a position where I was leading this many people at one time or hosting this many team calls. So I had to go out there and teach myself what to do. These are not skills I was born with. You can learn them too. You can turn any bad leadership skills into a positive one if you start today. If maybe you've messed up along the way, apologize to those coaches you might have approached the wrong way and ask for forgiveness and start over new. You can do it. You can rebuild that relationship. You can have a positive team, a positive experience, and that will in turn trickle down into your entire organization where you are respected as a leader and a mentor. Good luck this week, and any questions that you have, post it below and we'll be glad to help you out and keep you going. Good luck!